Good afternoon, everybody. Brian Neubert here from goldenblack.com here in the old home office following Purdue's 80 to 66 Big Ten tournament semifinal win over Ohio State. This is your wrap video following that game. Obviously, I was not there, but I did watch it on TV, unlike yesterday, so I'm qualified to speak on it, I'd like to think. Thank you to the Purdue Union Club Hotel for your support. As always, we appreciate it very much. So Purdue kind of grinds one out here over a very shorthanded, a very probably weary-legged Ohio State team that really came alive at the end of the season, had a lot of momentum going, made a lot of shots early. I think when Purdue weathered that three-point burst from Ohio State in the first half and actually led at halftime, I think the writing was kind of on the wall here as to what was going to happen. There was very much a bit of a battle of attrition here for Purdue to win, and that's exactly what happened. Purdue really separated itself starting at the end of the first half and carried that over into the second half, obviously led by the usual suspect, Ross-Ade getting 32 and 14 against a front court that didn't have a lot of options and wound up putting guards on him at times, albeit Ohio State's guards are large human beings, but they are also guards. So not a whole lot that Ohio State could do there, and Purdue maxed it out to their credit. Have to give a couple of obvious. Have to make some points here about some obvious guys who really made this game what it was for Purdue. Brandon Newman was outstanding. He was great on defense. He's really putting in a ton of effort on defense, and that really helped them neutralize Bruce Thornton, who was 3 of 12 from the floor. A lot of his offense came late when it didn't really matter all that much. You don't really think of Brandon Newman as a guy you're going to put on the ball necessarily. Lateral movement, I don't know if is necessarily his thing from a defensive perspective, but he did a hell of a job today, and you have to give him a lot of credit. On top of that, he makes 5 of 7 shots. Makes a couple big threes. Just an unbelievable game for Brandon Newman, who is responding to the moment in a big way. And if Purdue can carry that into the postseason, or just say the rest of the postseason, they're going to be pretty formidable. You know, Braden Smith early in the year had this kind of knack for rising to the occasion in second halves and really either taking over games or carrying Purdue home. And I thought a lot of that showed up again in the second half of this game. I thought he was outstanding in the second half. I think he had like 7 points, 3 assists, and no turnovers. I don't know if that was a turnover late that didn't matter. Maybe it was. I don't know. But last I checked, he was at 7, 3 assists, and 0 turnovers. Just an outstanding second half for him. He finishes with 14 points on 5 of 5 shooting, 5 assists, 1 turnover, and a steal, 5 rebounds. 2 for 2 from 3, just played really well, especially in that second half. And, I think you're to the point in the season here where those freshman guards are really swimming upstream in terms of everything they dealt with physically, everything they deal with these Big Ten teams, knowing that their every little quirk, their every little idiosyncrasy, whatever it might be. And I think for him to come out and play this way was in yet another Big Ten game, playing these guys for the third time this season, I think spoke volumes about him. Obviously, Fletcher Loyer struggling a little bit. It's been a long physical season. He is now a marked man on scouting reports. But for as much as people want to bag on him because he's not shooting well and he struggled defensively today against a very tricky defensive matchup for Purdue's entire backcourt because Ohio State's guards are all big and physical. They're all interchangeable, and they have 2 games worth of experience against Purdue to know what they can attack. But he still, for everybody who seems to believe he doesn't bring any value when he's struggling defensively, not making shots, he has 5 assists, and that's a lot of Ross-Ade's success in this game too. Is Fletcher Loyer's value as a decision maker, a passer, an entry guy, so on and so forth. Does Purdue need him shooting better? Yes. Does Purdue need to cover him up a little bit in certain matchups from a defensive perspective? Yes, but that is nothing new. That's been the reality all season long. It's just a little bit more acute now that everybody in the Big Ten knows everybody's every move. To be quite honest with you, Purdue needs to get away from the Big Ten as fast as possible. Get into some matchups against teams that maybe don't know your every single little detail, your every single vulnerability, your every single strength, so on and so forth. That's the dynamic that takes place every year, and that's where this Big Ten tournament is such a pain in the you-know-what, because playing Big Ten teams for a third time is really, really problematic. As Purdue found out last year with Iowa, as everybody finds out every year in this Big Ten tournament. Now Purdue gets Penn State or Indiana tomorrow for the Big Ten title, a weird little divergence between either playing one of your best friends, if you're Matt Painter, or playing your rival again for the third time. I'm sure Purdue would like another crack at Indiana for sure after getting swept during the regular season. If it is Indiana, they're going to have to figure out Trace Jackson-Davis like they always do, but they're also going to have to figure out Jalen Hood-Schifino because they have had no answer for him thus far. Maybe Brandon Newman, the way he's defending right now, can help you a little bit there, but this isn't a one-on-one deal. This is a team defense deal with him coming off those high ball screens and shooting those pull-ups. But they're going to have to figure out something there if it's Jalen Hood-Schifino. I think this was a really good win for Purdue, as I think all wins are in the Big Ten. Purdue really asserted itself on the glass. Purdue didn't turn the ball over, and that's obviously job one for them with only 7 turnovers. Again, I'll say this one more time. When Ohio State made every three it took there for a while, Roddy Gale turning into Kevin Durant, I think that weathering that storm was really significant, and that's when the writing was on the wall here that Purdue was gonna separate itself here and kind of win a battle of attrition. David Jenkins again, more great minutes from him, more shot making from him. He really shoots the ball well against Ohio State, and that is significant because it's always better to make shots than not make shots. Points are important, but also Purdue needs him on the floor against Ohio State because all of these guards they have are big, wide-bodied guys who are really a handful for Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer. You need him on the floor more just to body those guys up. So when you have him out there for those reasons more often than not, and he's making shots, it's a big part of the reason why Purdue's 3-0 against Ohio State this year. And a big part of the reason today that Purdue's headed back to the Big Ten tournament title game. It'd be great for Purdue to win this thing, obviously. They've had a bunch of cracks at it here the last few years. Lost to Michigan a few years ago, lost to Iowa last year. Haven't won it since that year that I can't remember who it was they played, but Hummel was on the team, Johnson, Moore, all those guys. Anyway, I'm really prepared for this video, aren't I? Anyway, Purdue beats Ohio State 80-66. I think I've said everything I can possibly say. So we'll leave it at that. I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow night after Purdue plays either Indiana or Penn State. Thank you to the Purdue Union Club Hotel for your support. As always, we appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. And thank you for processing our materials, however incoherent those materials may be. And I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. Thanks a lot.